And about our next speaker, she is a senior researcher with 10 plus years of total experience in the digital product design field. Currently, she's working at Citrix on the collaborative work management product. And for 3 years, she has already been a member of RIGA Tech Girls. And she'd describe herself as someone who combines three mindsets. It's engineering, design, and research. And in her talk today, she will combine a personal career story, what it takes to be a UX researcher, and what skills you should have to step into the professional field. Our next talk is What is a UX researcher and why does your company need one? By Irina Ganevica, who is the Senior User Experience Researcher at Citrix.
Hello, everyone. So, today I would like, can I have a slides, please, as well? Yes, so my goal with today's presentation is actually, I have two goals. Like, one goal is to inspire companies or company managers or directors to actually invest in research or hire a researcher in their teams. And another goal is to inspire people, women in this audience, of course, to actually step into this career path. So, basically, to start with some brief introduction, my name is Irina, and I've had basically a long path of different careers throughout my experience. So I started as a graphic designer, and then I turned into product design, art direction, and right now I'm completely turned into user experience research. And all I do, I'm researching how people are using digital products. And previously I worked at Prezi, Infogram, and currently I'm working in a product called RIGA, which was acquired by the bigger company, Citrix. And and briefly about what I do now at my workplace. So right now my role is to execute strategic research, plan it, and another role or task that I do is to train a product team to do user research. At RIGA we have 23 product teams. It's a pretty big company. And we have 26 designers, and we are hiring as well, so for your information. So a bit about RIGA. So I think we don't have office in Latvia. That's why not so many people know what's RIGA and what we do. Basically, it's a collaborative work management product where you can plan your project, execute your project, make tasks, provide visibility, transparency in the processes and any development which happens in your company. So it was founded in St. Petersburg at 2006. Currently we have 9 global offices, and I think we will have, or already have, a 10th one in Tallinn. 20,000 customers, and we are a B2B company, so these are like 20,000 companies. And we have 1,100 employees, and we are, as I said, growing pretty rapidly. Yes. So yeah, here you can see a logo slide, and of course, many users are working in these companies and using RIGA. And to show you a bit of interface of this product, basically here you can see UI for the project. You can create a project, describe it, collaborate on it, and also create some workflows which you will use working on the product. And here you can see also some workload management features and also some interesting features where you can actually approve, comment on the images and even videos inside RIGA. You can get many different views on stats, on how your company is performing, and you can get also different views on the work items, on the projects, on the tasks, by easily switching through different like lists, boards, tables, and Gantt charts throughout your information. And of course, integrations. Any digital product right now is passionate about integrations. So yeah, here is our 9 offices locations, and right now the main product office is in Prague, where I already traveled a couple of times. Yeah, so to go forward, like I would like to share a bit of my personal story. How did I become a UX researcher? No, without this. So I hear today a lot of interesting, inspiring stories of other ladies who told about their experience. And for me, it all started actually from my parents. Basically, my dad was a startupper before it became cool. So in 90s, I believe, we have many of our parents have stories how they lived through the 90s and how they tried to make up some money and find some way to stay and live and help their kids to grow. So my dad is a firefighter, and my mother and he and my mother had a business at that time, and maybe some of you like programmers or developers in the age of 40s can remember her because she worked on the Latgales Tirgus, and she was selling books about programming languages and different softwares, and they actually brought those books from Russia, from St. Petersburg, and they brought a big bags and brought them to Latvia and sell them on this market. And many programmers actually grew through these books. And my parents were basically saying, like, this is me in this, I have this nice décolleté. So my parents and my dad said, like, go and study programming, because actually we have a big library in our house of these books, because after some time, of course, everything started to be on the internet and people were not going and buying books, so business didn't survive. But we had a huge library. I had different versions of Maya, C, C++, all Windows versions in books, like some instructions how to use those systems and how to program those languages. And yeah, and my dad was actually inspired me and pushed me to go and learn programming. So this is where my actually story and relationship with IT started. So I went to Riga Technical University and I studied information technologies there. Then I went to masters in information systems, but I didn't finish because at that time I already started to work as project manager, web project manager. And in my 30s, I actually decided to go and finish interactive design master's degree, which was actually amazing experience. And in the end of my presentation, I give you some specific links, which program I finished, and I finished it remotely. So my career path started as a project manager, but at that time I knew some Photoshop. So back then, everything was drawn, even web design was drawn in Photoshop. Then I went to web design and art direction, and then I went to work in Infogram, a Latvian startup. And I worked there as UX UI product designer and worked on interfaces. But I had a passion in myself to be involved in research more than in design. So through time, after Infogram got acquired by Prezi, they have a bigger UX research department. I had an opportunity actually to fully switch to UX research. So, and now let's talk about what do UX researchers do and what's the UX research is about. I would like to start my story with the picture of flat Earth. Sorry, flat Earth believers in the audience. TV switched off. And it's on. Thank you, flat Earthers. Yeah, why with the flat Earth? So because I found like it's a good metaphor of actually companies or products or services, social services, governmental services, who is developing their products and don't actually look around and don't even go out there, out the edge of their flat Earth piece, because somehow they think it's enough for them that they know inside their flat Earth cubicle, and it's not needed to go further. So, and what's wrong with this flat Earth? So basically, it's based on hypotheses. We don't know for sure, is it a true or not. It limits thinking and opportunities. People and products who are in the limited space, they don't see all the opportunities around. And of course, probability of false assumptions and conclusions is huge. And seeing Earth as round, or at least knowing that the Earth is round and there is something out there, and at least trying to step into other worlds, provides a better understanding of reality and understanding of other people's perceptions, other people's views and lives. And yeah, and this is how actually the world started to develop. The silk and spices routes emerging, and everything. People start to learn other cultures and other people lives and habits. And yeah, so basically, if you develop your product in isolation without like perceiving that your team already have enough knowledge to provide services for the outer world, then it's a false perception, because we can't actually speak up for the other world. And I was really happy to hear about, in the previous speakers, about diverse design teams. It's a really important point. As diverse as better diversity is in your team, as better assumptions and the more correct is your gut feeling, collaborative gut feeling. But it's always not enough as well. So, yeah, and I have a story. Who of you knows what's Google Wave? Okay. Yeah, it's a bit of dinosaur who survived only for 1 year. But for me, it's a good example of a flat Earth product, basically. So Google Wave, we can read a description of this interesting product. So multiple people can simultaneously edit, chat, send links, video clips, put interactive content, some kind of collaborate in real time, no emails. Doesn't this remind you something? For me, definitely, like Slack, what we have now, and we all use them, use it, basically. So what's happened with Google Wave? Why it's died and why Slack actually survived and it's super popular right now? So here you can see the interface of Google Wave. It has a bit of similarities, not everything. But we can see it's pretty complex, even for that time, when interfaces was not so minimalistic. So what was the mistake of Google Wave? So mainly their language, the style, and the audience, the audience who were choosing and using this tool was not the everyone. This was specific people who were okay to use terms like wavelet and blip for basically channels and messages, right? In general, like complexity, the heaviness of different features which were not adapted to the mass market, to the simple users, was not there. And that's why Google Wave were perceived as complex product for scientists, researchers, and somebody like that. So people were complaining that this is not for everyone and for normal people as they perceive. So this is why Google Wave actually didn't survive. They didn't knew their audience and their people. So let's talk into what does UX researcher do. I didn't want to bring you some Wikipedia explanation. So in general words, we help companies to be more efficient. So we save you, the companies, time, money, resources, and people energy by bringing users, clients, and people's interest into the table on many levels. So we bring the customer, person, user, voice in the company. And yeah, there is also UX designers, and I know that the UX designers are really popular position in Latvia right now, really hot. So everyone is searching for UX UI designers. So what's the difference between researcher and designer? So designer mostly focusing on providing a solution. And designer, of course, they're stepping into researcher field as well, but they need to keep the context. They're researching to find the best solution, where researchers searching to what we need to solve. Yes, so this is the difference. But some of the UX designers actually saw into user experience research that they maybe don't even acknowledge that they might fully switch to researcher position. So this is how UX researcher daily or usual work artifacts look like. So we don't make interfaces, we don't draw designs, but we work with information a lot. So how to get the information, how to analyze information, and how to condense it to the size so it's easy consumable by company, by teams, by product owners, and so on. So we work with data, we work with people, and we work with also internal company people. So yeah, this TV is switching off all the time. Okay, so I also tried to summarize what's the qualities of UX researcher and what the qualities should be. So first of all, of course, the empathy. You should be curious to step into other people's shoes and minds and try to understand them deeply, their intents, their emotions. You should be a careful listener, and you should have a sharp eye on behaviors. So you notice something and you immediately think why person did that. And yeah, always asking questions, always asking why. And be a skilled communicator, because you don't only talk to users, but you also need to know the strategy, how to get the information and put it into the right ears within your team and your company. And there is also some skills that, like hard skills, you should be able to do. You should be able to correctly define the goals and objective of research. It's as well from academia field. Able to plan, execute, synthesize, research and communicate, and there is a bunch of methods which can be used in each of these stages. Be proficient with qualitative and quantitative data analysis. Facilitate workshops within your team, and of course avoid biases. We have a bunch of those, and to talk about them I would need another hour. So yeah, and where UX researcher time is spent. So 10% planning, 25 executing, 25 synthesis, and 40 for communication. A lot of time is spent to be sure that your research and insights actually did an impact on the product. And you need to talk with the right teams, make a workshop, make them empathize to what you figured out. Yeah, and so for some of the companies, the main quote, like, we don't need a person for that, to do all this research. So we can just, time to time, make some workshop, learn some methods. There is a lot of them in the internet. Talk to customers. Some of the companies think if they just talk to customers, they do research. It's wrong. And make a survey, for example. The truth is, yes, you don't always need a specific person for that. So sometimes, really often, in RIGA, actually as well, PMs and designers are making research. So, and we as researcher only handling the bigger research, strategic research projects. So PMs, designers, data analysts can do research. Customer success people can do research, customer research. Marketing can do research as well. But here, important point is to avoid the bias during the research, because PMs usually tend to test and talk about features they want to deliver, not really like talking through experiences. Designers usually tend to test solutions, and they tend to make usability tests, show solution, and guide through this. So customer success, data analysts, these are the good guys and girls, but they mostly on quantitative side. They think the numbers can say everything, but numbers can't say you why people are acting like that. Customer success and marketing mostly on the business side. So they tend to talk about the profit and money and not really like how to make experience better. So yeah, in some cases it can be enough if done right, and because wrong research brings wrong conclusions, breaks trust within the company towards, in general, research methods, and this is a bad thing. So yeah, this is the same, and another metaphor for you today. For example, imagine you have a problem in your bathroom, or you need to connect a bath to pipes, and you go to the plumber shop, and there is no consultant in there, but everything is there. You can fix the problem with all this stuff. So I would imagine myself would have a problem in there. So figuring out what tool I need to have, what piece of pipe I need to take. And it's the same with the research and their methods. So it's not enough just to go to internet, read some methods, and run them. There is a lot of them, and each of them is used in different situations. And without the right person, it's really difficult to like understand the recipe, what you should take in this situation, to figure out what you want to figure out. So, and yeah, and you can end up like that. So, after visiting this plumber shop. Yeah, so and now let's talk about the reasons to hire UX researcher in your company or invest in UX research. So this picture might convince some of the people, some of the companies. So there was a Forrester research which tried to prove return of investment of actually putting money into research and to design within the company, into UX, user experience. So $1 spent on user experience brings you 100 in return it's scientifically proven information. So, and there is also some other reasons which could help. Basically, yes, so I will go into them deeper after that slide. So remove a gut feeling based development, provide a deeper connection with your users and customers. Researcher would help ask the right question in the right time, build empathetic culture within the company, and would help to build a habit of always challenging assumptions. So let's talk about the first reason why you need to invest in research and have a researcher within the company. So yeah, it helps to provide, to have more structured proofing processes under decisions. You will have a proof under what you do. And remove this weird gut feeling development because I faced it a lot of time when actually there was some person really opinionated within the team who actually decided what to build just because some of the competitor did that, or just because I think this is the right thing to do. So for you, I have one data mystery in here to guess about. And for those who know the answer from or saw this, please be quiet, let others guess. So this graph shows the drop of one of the most popular chewing gum producers through years. So what would be your guess why this drop happened, actually? Any guesses from those who don't know the answer 100%? Any guess? Okay, one hint. iPhone came out at 2008. It related to mobiles. Any guesses? People with mass market? Marketing, right? Wrong marketing. Maybe. Any last guess? Packaging, okay. So, not really. Like, this is what this company would actually think when they would see the data. So, they don't have a clue, they see the drop, nobody's buying, let's change the packaging. Let's fire our marketing person and hire another one because we are failing. But the answer is really actually simple, and with research and observations, you can get it. Oh, there is no answer. Oh, sorry, there was the pictures. Okay, so answer is like that. People, lot of the people buying chewing gums, standing in the queues in supermarkets. And the mobile phones stepping into our life. And especially in America, people were just looking into their phones and not looking around where all the stands with chewing gums were standing. And this actually influenced a lot how many chewing gums people are buying. So by observing this, the scientists and researchers were able to actually identify the reason. Another point why it's worth to invest in research. So you can provide opportunities to build the deeper connection with service, with brand, and with the product. And another quiz for you. Here you can see three brands, three producers of a smartwatch. And you can see smartwatches, and you can see three pictures of ladies. I wouldn't ask the audience, but just in your mind, can you recall who of them will pick which? I would say you will have an answer in your head, right? So this is what we call like a connection with the brand. So we know the story behind, and we associate ourselves with the brands. And research can also help, of course, more marketing one, not about like experience and usage, but here research involved as well. So we can understand like to whom we actually produce the product and how we want this person to feel wearing this product or associate with what like image. Yes, and researcher asks the right questions at the right time in the right way. How many of you seen this picture? You know where it is? Near the art museum, right? So it basically notifies people that there might be a slippery floor when it's wet and when it's snowing. How many days in Latvia there are dry like land or floor or tiles? I wouldn't say a lot to actually build this type of solution in there. And if you look at this small schema in there, there is actually a schema of non-slippery paths you can go, not to slip. So if you are not so, let's say, not look around and not look at this poster really closely, you wouldn't know where and how to move through this coverage. It's one example of when it's too late actually to fix, and this fix doesn't look good enough. Another example, local one, who saw this car on the streets? Are there any people? There was a social campaign for like not to look into your phone, and there was a car circulating around the city, which was sticked with the mobile phones, and there was a zombies, and like basically was calling like you will be living dead if you look into your phone, and like the cool car, nicely. Nicely done, nicely designed, and pretty fun idea, I would say. But what's wrong with this? It was a car who was driving all around. And people who see this car while driving, they take a photo. So I wouldn't say it's a good example. It's a good campaign, I would say, for this purpose. So again, not enough thinking through how it would be experienced in life. About the empathy, about the building awareness in your team, and how actually make everyone in the company think about the users, about the user experience. So there is always a lot of weight for the business goals. And it's important as well. So it's about the money, it's about our salaries, it's about like competitions, new markets, and output, and delivering fast and delivering a lot. And always, I wouldn't say always, but usually, user goals about delight, nice experience, making my job done, about the outcome of the features that we deliver might be forgotten. And user research specialist in the team helps to balance it, helps to advocate for the users, helps to go and talk, and helps to find compromises to actually serve as business goals, as user goals as well. And this helps to provide better experiences for ourselves as users as well, and feeling that you're actually helping somebody and providing a value. And help to build a habit of always challenging assumptions. So your team will start always asking, are we actually sure that we should do that? Another nice story and example for you here. So imagine a supermarket, usual one. And one of the companies invented a product. It was like a food for babies. Deep frozen, healthy, has different taste. It was put in the freezer in here. And suddenly they, like, super qualitative, like nicely done, all vitamins, everything was there, like the frosage technology was in place. But nobody was actually, like, they expected much higher interest from the buyers, but it was not there. People were not buying. And what they tried to do, so they changed packaging design. They talked to focus groups. They reviewed a price. Maybe it's too expensive. Let's make it cheaper a bit, at least. And yeah, how they talk to focus group. How do you find the look of our product? Is it like associates with healthy food and babies and mothers and like this stuff? But it didn't help. Any clues why? Okay, I support this point, but it's not the correct answer. Anyone? Location, it's closer. Yeah, you are on the interesting, on something. Okay, let me give you the answer in here. The answer is they are customers who is in the shop with, they usually have a small baby, so they bring babies into the shop as well, so with them. This like mothers or fathers. And usually the section with the freezer is really cold. And they don't stop there usually. They rush through this, take just what they need, and they go to other sections. So there is really cold in this place. So this insight helped the product actually to rethink what they should do to sell the product. I don't have a story about what they came with, but for research, it's an important point. So you should actually check your assumptions, observe and research. So yeah, and research doesn't say from fails. There's happening a fails as well, but it makes probability of fails much less. Okay, and like, where do we find one? Where do we find this researcher, if we need one? There is several tips. Train your team to do research, invest into trainings, hire one, hire a researcher vendor to do research for you, invest in company enthusiasts who are eager to do this and willing, or use education, like go and educate yourself maybe, choose this as a career path. And maybe you can become researcher yourself. There is some useful links for you who would like to touch a bit this field and learn something. So interactiondesign.org, I tried these courses by myself, and they are really good. There is this higher education, if you are more into like more solid path. So human-computer interaction, Tallinn University provides this program. I'm not sure does Latvia have one, but you should check. And of course, Google UX Design professional courses in Coursera. I really recommend them. I saw their program, and it touches all design thinking process, research and design and planning, and some methodologies behind there as well. And yeah, to end up, like, why research is important. Basically, if this picture is not convincing, then maybe you can check the presentation again later. Yeah, so today, my main call is I want in Latvia more companies is having position for UX researchers, investing in research. By that, we will be able to have and experience a better services, better products, and live better. That's simple. So yeah, thank you.